Hi everyone, and welcome back to Creative Chelsea. If you like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up or commenting below. If you want to see more of my videos, press the subscribe button and click on the bell for notifications. If you need any Stampin' Up! Products to make these cards, you can visit my online store and the link is in the description box below. So all week long, we have been creating alternative projects using the May 2020 Paper Pumpkin Kit, a kit in color. This is my last video this week, and so we're going to be showing you how you can use just the stamp set to create more cards. These are the original cards you can make with the kit. If you would like to watch me make these cards, you can watch the unboxing video, and I will link it right here in the corner. Don't miss next month's Paper Pumpkin Kit. It will include all the supplies you need to make 8 full-size cards. Plus, you can repurpose the cute box, place something fun and yellow inside, and gift it to someone who needs a little more sunshine. Make sure to use the link below to subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, and you'll need to do that before June 10th. So these are the cards we're going to be making in today's video. So each month I send my Paper Pumpkin subscribers an exclusive card kit designed by me, and it includes all the cardstock and accessories to make 2 of 1 card design. This is the card for May's current subscribers. So we're going to be making this card, and then we've got a bonus card using some of those scraps from the previous cards we've made using the Paper Pumpkin Kit. So let's go ahead and begin with this card. So these are some of the extra things you're going to need to create this card. And I'll just walk you through the pieces really quick. I always list the description of the items I'm using in each video, as well as the sizes of cardstock in the description box below. So the first thing you're going to need is a Balmy Blue card base, and this is just your regular size, which is cut to 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches and scored at 4 1/4. You'll need like a card front, and it's 4 inches by 5 1/4. You'll just need some scrap, so Saffron cardstock. And then you'll need some Purple Posy cardstock. Now, this is the Purple Posy card base that came in the kit. And so if you by chance have more of this laying around, you can use this card base and cut it down to the size that you need for this card. If by chance you've used all yours up, you can just cut a piece that is 2 inches by 2 3/4 inches. And then you'll need a strip, a 1/2 inch strip, that's about 5 inches long. You will also need some clouds. Now, if you have used up all your clouds, hopefully you have saved the outline and you can create more. And I'm just going to show you how to do that right now. So you're just going to get a piece of Whisper White cardstock, place your stencil over that cardstock, and then you can just trace. You're going to want to cut along this trace line, and then we're going to actually use the back for our card. So now just trim along that line, and I'm going to speed this up. Okay, so you can see that I wasn't perfect in my cutting. I did leave some lines, and so we just want to make sure that we're going to use the lines will be on the back of the image when we apply it to our card. So I've gone ahead and already have cut out the large, medium, and small clouds so that I can use these on my card as well. So the first thing we're going to do when creating this card is our stamping. So the ink colors I've chosen, you can switch depending on what ink colors you have in your craft room. So I'm using Melon Mambo, and you could probably use any bright pink or red color, or even a dark purple would be cute with this as well. And then I'm using Daffodil Delight, and again, any yellow color would work. I'm also using the Misty Moonlight color that came in the kit. So let's just work from the back to the front. So on your card front, which is just the 4" by 5 1/4 piece, you're going to stamp the little asterisk image in the corner and down along the bottom. If you're having a hard time getting a good image, you can use VersaMark, and that's just going to keep the ink on your stamp. So just randomly stamp these. And then do some along the bottom. Like so. And we can always add more after our card has been put together if we want to. So the next thing we're going to stamp is the sun. So I've got some Saffron cardstock, and I have a punch. And this punch is 1 3/4 inches. You could go larger or smaller depending on whatever size circle punch you may have. So we're going to use the Daffodil Delight, and we're going to stamp the happy lines, which are those 3 lines that are kind of put together. And we're going to stamp those in a darker yellow, and we're going to place them along the edge of our yellow circle. And this is just going to give us a fun texture for this sun. You can go ahead and go all the way around, and then when they meet, you're not going to worry too much about if there's overlapping, because we can hide that portion under a cloud. The next thing we're going to stamp are the rainbow arches and the greeting, and we're going to do that in the Melon Mambo. So let's start with the rainbow arches, and I just am going to start with the large size first. And you're going to stamp that in the upper area of your 2 3/4 inch rectangle. And then go to your medium size. And the small. Like that. Now we're going to stamp the greeting, "Oh Happy Day." We're going to actually stamp this 2 times on that 1/2 inch by 5 inch strip. Okay, now that our stamping is done, we're going to do some sponging. And so we're going to get those 3 clouds, open up your Misty Moonlight, and if you have either a sponge dauber or a sponge, you can just take that color and you're going to just sponge that along the edge of each cloud. And you can go with a lighter or a darker color, depending on what you want. If you want something a little bit lighter, then you're just going to tap off that color onto some scrap paper like this until it lightens up a little bit, and then you can go with a lighter color for your clouds. This just gives them a little bit of dimension and interest as they're layered on top of one another. And then I didn't do this on my original card, but it might be fun to do some sponging along this edge of our card front as well. So I'm just going to do that, and that's just going to give a very little border to kind of define the card front from the card base. like that. Okay, now we can put our card together. So let's begin by adding our sun to the background. And you're just going to look for that area where there might have been some overlapping and make sure that goes down so that the clouds can cover it. Next, we're going to add our large cloud, and this is just going to go right in the center over our sun. And you can use a bone folder to smooth everything out. Now we're going to tie some twine. And I have some retired crushed curry twine, so it's a little bit darker than the yellow we used. And I'm just going to measure and cut it at 16 inches. I'm going to go ahead and wrap that around my card front and tie a bow. I think I'm going to keep the bow over here on the right side, but if you want, you can twist it and bring it over to the left. Just going to try something a little bit different with this card. I'm just going to bring it down slightly. Next, I'm going to add the rainbow with some dimensionals. You can cut them in half if you want, or use full ones. And this goes over our large cloud, and you can kind of have it peeking out a little bit on the corner and then the cloud coming out on the side. The goal is to put it on straight, but if you're not, then you're just like me and can bring that up a little bit before it gets fully adhered. So you're going to look like that. Next, we're going to add our large and small clouds. So the small one is going to go over here on the right, just under the right side of the arch. Place a little bit of glue and slide it there, just barely covering that base of the arch. And it's okay if it comes off slightly. You can even bring it over a little bit more if you want. And then this one, we're going to need a dimensional here on the left side to support that side. But then we can add some adhesive up at the top and a little bit over on that side. And this is just going to go down a little bit for our greeting, like so. If you feel like it needs another dimensional here, you can put one there. I think I'm just going to use a half one here and stick it, remove both the papers, and stick it underneath right there, just for a little extra support. Now for our greeting, we're going to cut this up. We want our first one to just say, "Oh, happy." So we're going to remove the day. And then on this side, we're going to remove the O. So it's going to say, "Oh, happy, happy day." And you can use it for any fun, maybe a birthday or a special celebration. Just add a little adhesive on the back of each of those strips. This first one can go at an angle, and then the second one can come a little bit on a little straighter. And then just make sure they don't cover too much of the word. And there we go. Got a very cute card front. So now we can add this to our card base. Gonna go ahead and fold that. Use a bone folder and then add some adhesive to the back. And place this in the middle or center. And you can open that card up and use a bone folder to smooth out the adhesive if you're using liquid glue. And that card is all done. I really like that we changed things up a little bit and added that sponging. I think that really helped offset the card front from the card back. And the extra dark lines of the cloud on that one are really fun. And it's just a personal preference if you want to have a darker sponging or a lighter sponging. So let's go ahead and do our bonus card next. So this card uses up a lot of the scraps that I had left over from making my alternative cards. And what I did is I cut each strip to 4 inches. And I didn't care too much about the width. I just didn't want ones that were bigger than maybe a 1/2 inch or so. I have my card base, and it's a thick Whisper White cardstock, and it is 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And we're just going to go ahead and fold that and use a bone folder. And how I put this together, I just grabbed some of those strips and just started adding them. I like to use my liquid adhesive for this. And there really is no right or wrong. You're just going to apply them to your card. And I did leave a little border at the top and on the bottom. And then just pick up strips and start adding them to your card. I did place them right up against each other as well. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. Okay, so I've gone ahead and placed all those strips on my paper. Now you might have noticed that I was measuring and tried to find one that fit a little bit better on the end, which can be a little bit tricky. If I didn't find one that would have worked, I could have trimmed one of my bigger pieces down to fit. So the next thing we're going to do is use the inside from one of our shaker cards to ground our greeting, and to kind of make it a little bit more fun, I'm going to add some circles on it to give it some dimension. And for this one I used balloons because I was making a birthday card. I've got some leftover scrap from the Purple Posy card base, and I'm just going to punch out some circles. I can do as many that will fit on my scrap. So maybe 3 or 4, depending on how many I can get. I could even do some half circles and then put them on the edge if I wanted. So these are just going to add some texture and interest to that plain Purple Posy color. And if I wanted to, I can go ahead and add a flat one. I could, because this edge is stitched, I can either have it go over that stitching, or I could line it up right above the stitching. I think I'm going to go ahead and take, actually, let's punch out another one that's only partial. And then we can do that in a couple places. So I'm just going to add some adhesive. There's really no right or wrong to this. Just place some adhesive on the back of each one and then just add them to your card. So this just goes on in the middle of my card. And try to just center it so it has even borders all the way around. If you want, you can open that up and then push a bone folder down. So now we're going to do our stamping, and I have some leftover white envelope that's left. So I'm going to stamp on that and then fussy cut the images out. I'm going to use the words "Hey" and "You're amazing" on this card. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our stamping. I want it to coordinate with the colors I have, so I'm going to use Pumpkin Pie ink and Melon Mambo. And we're going to try something a little bit different for this card that I haven't actually tried yet, so this is kind of new. And we're going to sponge some color on this image to get kind of an ombre look. So we're going to start with the pumpkin pie first, and then we're going to sponge on some Melon Mambo. And so I've just got a sponge dauber, and I'm just going to add that color to the top half of my image, just to kind of give it some fun and interest. So you can see how that added to that image, and then we're going to stamp that. Like so. That turned out super cute. And now let's do the same thing with "You're amazing." We're going to do orange, the pumpkin pie orange first, and then let's sponge the "Your" and as part of that "amazing" in the Melon Mambo. And we're going to stamp that on our paper as well. And now we're just going to fussy cut both of those out. Okay, so I've gone ahead and have fussy cut those greetings out. And now I'm going to add them to my card. So this first one, I'm just going to add straight onto the Purple Posy cardstock. And I just want to put it at an angle up in the left area of that window. And then this one I want to add with some dimensionals. And I'm going to cut them in half so that they fit better on that back of that greeting. Place some at the beginning, in the middle, and then near the end, just so it is well supported. And that's just going to go down in the bottom right area. So it says, "Hey, you're amazing." Then I've cut a piece of 8 inches of the twine, and I'm just going to go ahead and tie a bow. And then I can add that under or on the bottom of the "amazing." I'm just going to pick up a glue dot and place it right by that A, and then place my bow on top of the glue dot. I'm going to bring that tail down so that it's doesn't get in the way. So if I wanted to, we could be done with that, but I do have some green stars that I haven't used. And so if I wanted, I could put one over that bow. That might be cute. Or I could place a couple in and around my greeting. Let's lift this one up just a little bit so it's a little higher. we could put another one right there. All right, so that is our bonus card, just using some of the leftover pieces from the paper pumpkin kit this month. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, like, and share. Visit creativechelsea.com for more information about paper pumpkin and to start getting your monthly kit. Have a creative day. Bye.